thank you for joining us, Mr. Olomofe. Now,
Olomofe.
He has announced that he has plans to get back these mind-boggling sums of money, but he did not announce any plan he may have. How realistic do you think his plan might be, and do you think you might know what plan he may have to get the funds back? It's
a very good point, and it's a key point. In being ambiguous, you have a very major problem that you're setting up yourself for. You know, he's a military strategist. I mean, he has been a military man for a long time. So what I assume that he's doing is that he's keeping his cards very close to his chest. He's not going to tell you exactly what he's going to do so that people are not prepared for that. However, being a civilian president, there have to be some levels of information that you give to the public. And in simply saying, I will do this, and not giving any hint of how, what you're doing is you are robbing yourself of massive levels of support. It's very difficult to find out how he's going to do that because it's been years running. They're only really talking about $150 billion. And I say to myself, is that all that was stolen? So clearly they still have a lot of homework to do, and they have to figure out a way to communicate correctly with the audience and the public that they are focusing on. President Buhari is a very integral man. He's respected around the world, but his media team need to work better on communicating his ideas and his thoughts, and as you mentioned, his plans to the public.
All right, now during a meeting with Nigerians in the diaspora, he actually mentioned that he has started receiving some documents on shady deals. Some past leaders and some ministers who worked with the immediate past president of Nigeria did. And he even mentioned that some of them even had as many as 5 accounts abroad to stash stolen funds there. Isn't that explicit enough for Nigerians to be assured that indeed he means well and will tackle that problem?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, he's been explicit enough to say, you know, there are stashed away documents and multiple accounts. But frankly, we already knew that. You know, that's not news. You know, what makes the news is stuff that people don't know. It's names and numbers, it's places, it's times, it's discussions, it's secret, you know, meetings. These are the things people want to know about. These are, you know, you reveal a few of these things and I tell you a lot of people are going to sit up and take notice. You know, in the United States, for example, when a whistleblower goes off and goes wild, you know how it makes the news because he's going to tell you stuff you don't know. And in this case, he's just telling us stuff we know.
Okay, there's a saying that whoever fights corruption must be careful so he himself, whoever fights monsters rather, should be careful so he himself does not become a monster in the process. Now, anything he needs to be careful about, do you think he needs to tread cautiously to achieve his goal?
Well, you know, I don't think I'm afraid of him becoming a monster. I'm afraid instead of him becoming the dinner for the monsters. And that's the major problem here. Nigerians have a very peculiar way of getting themselves out of trouble. But, you know, I think we've been lucky over the past few years, or maybe even decades, where the attacks on people who do the right thing have reduced from being fatal attacks to being verbal attacks. And I think that if we continue in this way, where we have a security service that works correctly to defend the people who are defending the country, we have nothing to worry about. As for President Buhari becoming a monster, I don't think so. I think he's doing the right thing. I just think he needs to communicate it better at the point where he does that at every step that he can communicate, because some things are secret. I mean, he can't reveal everything. But he communicates the right things at the right time, and that notion of him looking like a monster will never come up.
All right, now, Nigeria in time past has experienced, of course, funds being stolen, where monies stolen were repatriated back into Nigeria, and then they were not well accounted for. We know how the Abacha loot went and all. Now, President Buhari saying he wants to get this sums of money back, $150 billion. Are you assured, are you confident that President Buhari's integrity is enough for this money, if he gets the money, to be well utilized in Nigeria?
That's where we're talking about being explicit. So you tell us you're going to get $150 billion back. You don't tell us how or when, and then you don't tell us exactly what you're going to do with the money. At that point, a lot of people start to doubt you. A lot of people start to question not your integrity, but your competence. And that is a very sad thing because, as I say, he's a very respected statesman. What he needs to do is tell us these things. I mean, I can't speak for the president. I'm not his spokesman. But I will tell you this. If he is as, integral as he has been portrayed to be, then what he needs to do now is come out and say 150 billion, 10 billion is going to go to this, 10 billion is going to go to that, 15 billion is going to go to this, so that he can be held accountable. When somebody doesn't tell you anything, how do you hold him accountable?
Okay, going forward, what measures or sanctions do you think need to be put in place to bring corruption to a halt, or at least its barest minimum in Nigeria?
Well, you know, most people don't like to hear my view on this, because I'm very, very vocal about the fact that I think people are getting a free ride here. A lot of people that have stolen from the country, are getting a free ride. There should be serious measures taken. I was on another show right here on TVC when somebody said, a caller called in and said, perhaps they need to be beaten in public. I know that that sounds ridiculous. But at the end of the day, if you put stringent laws in place that say this is specifically how you will be punished in a very, you know, painful way, perhaps people start to rethink.
All right, Kunle Olomofe, public affairs analyst, thank you for your thoughts on the what we are discussing at this time.
Thank you. It's been my...
Moving on.